Welcome to the Soya Says podcast, and this is episode 12. Joining me in this episode is Komal. Komal, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Shoaib. It's wonderful to be here. And your previous episodes have been amazing. I checked out a few of them. So, yeah, congratulations on that. And thanks for having me.
Cool, cool, cool. So, to begin with, I must tell you that I really admire your content and the sheer value that you provide. I have myself shared your stuff with several people that have benefited from it. So now
That's really sweet. Thank you.
now, your LinkedIn does say that you are a freelance writer, but I think it discounts the tips, the strategies, and the value that you bring to the table, especially on social media. So, would
Right.
you like to briefly add more about yourself, something that I might have missed?
Right. So, briefly, I'm a freelance content and copywriter for B2B SaaS brands like Shopify, InVideo, We.io, and a bunch of others. I specialize in long form blogs, guest posts, ebooks, and sales landing pages mainly. And yeah, I'm also a consultant to freelancers, helping them navigate the business side of things, how to scale up, and all of these things. And also a content creator on whichever platform I can get my hands on: Clubhouse, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And yeah, just trying to do my bit in the marketing and content world. Yeah,
Great,
that's
great.
more or less about me.
Cool, cool. So let's get down to business. We are talking about blogging today. And like you mentioned, you've already seen a previous few episodes, but just to fill you in and for the benefit of the audience, in the previous two episodes on blogging, the first one was focused on whether or not you should start a blog in 2021. We also
Yeah,
talked about the importance of SEO and consistency and stuff like that. And the
yeah,
second episode was focused on niches. The second one was on niches. What kind of blog niches make you the most money? So
yeah.
both these episodes will anyways be linked in the description if anyone wants to check them out. But with this episode, I want to build on top of the previous two episodes and
Okay.
address the question how to actually get down and write a blog. That's where we have Komal, who is going to share her expert tips on how exactly you can write a good blog. Um,
Yeah.
but before we go there, I really want to know your thoughts, Komal, on blogging itself. And this was a question I posed to the other two
Yeah.
experts we had
Yeah.
previously as well.
Yeah.
So, in the times that we are in today, when it looks like everyone is consuming just visual content, photos,
Yeah.
videos, reels, stories, even audio these days is going big with Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. So, do you think blogging or writing is still worth it? Do you think people have the time to read and not listen or watch?
I think a very interesting question, Shoaib, and I think this is something that a lot of marketers, even writers, are debating about. Because, like you said, the rise of audio and video is so much that even Instagram, just recently took on an update that it's not just an image sharing and a content sharing platform anymore. So they're giving more, um, you know, they're giving a push to videos as well. So when it comes to blogs, I think it's still a pretty important part of the content ecosystem online today, especially in the digital world. Why? Because um, you know when you are looking for information, especially when you are seeking a solution for something, be it anything about, let's say, marketing, or you're like a student looking for solutions around whatever you're studying about, or you're a professional looking to upskill themselves, or learn more about something like a vertical. The first place you're going to go to is Google, not Instagram, not YouTube, not Twitter, but Google.
Absolutely.
So how many times do we say, like, for example, my laptop, there's something, let's say there's a problem with my laptop. The first thing I'll say is, okay, let me first Google it and see how I can fix it.
Yeah.
Before I actually move on to reaching out to the customer service or reaching out to a help, reaching out to a friend for help, I'm going to say, I'm just going to Google it. And that term has probably become a buzzword in 2021. But that's precisely where the importance of blogs come in, which I really think are in here for the long haul. Because number one, when I talk about it's important for brands in particular, and then I'll talk about users. When I talk about brands in particular, blogs are those digital assets which help them build trust, and topical authority in the services they're providing. So if I'm a user, if I'm a potential customer, I'm visiting a website, I'm reading their blogs, I think that okay, this is quite helpful for me. I was able to solve my problems through this particular blog. So maybe if I need help, I can directly reach out to this company who's already offering such services. So blogs essentially help brands establish themselves as an expert, as a thought leader in the industry, and basically it builds them build it helps them build trust with their audience, and slowly they can nurture them through it, and of course convert them into paying customers. Similarly for B2B, similarly for B2C, it's like human to human, right? Where blogs play a very important role. So I personally realized all this when I started freelancing. I
Mhm.
was like a blog binge reader. I'm still a blog binge reader. So more than watching videos, listening to podcast episodes and all these things, I believe in reading blogs, like long form, crisp blogs, like which go on for like 5,000, 6,000 words.
Mhm.
And honestly, since I did not have a mentor when I started freelancing, and I didn't talk to a lot of freelancers, these blogs were my holy grail. They were the basis of my business. They were the basis of my knowledge, my understanding. And that is
Mhm.
precisely why I believe so much in them. So yeah, I think the importance of blogging in 2021 is only going to rise with time as we move forward, as brands need to, build more trust with their audience, because that today, when a customer wants to buy something, the sales cycle is increasing.
Yeah.
They want more trust. They
Mhm.
want to know more information about your products and services. They want to feel a bit more personal with you, for which blogs play an important role in essentially solving their problems, building trust, and saying that yes, I am a brand, I am here to solve your problems, and I'm giving it to you all on my website. Take this, solve your problems, and if you need assistance, buy from us. So
Mhm.
that is essentially why I feel blogging is so important right now, and it's only going to rise. And just that's why I'm so, like, I'm passionate about blogging so much that practically every client I work with, I'm like definitely going to convince them to get into blogging, even if they like hire me for something else, for example, a landing page or something. Blogging is something I definitely end up doing with them, because I tell them that this is something you need to do today. And like, yeah, just so many opportunities with blogging, and not gonna die anytime soon is what I feel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Excellent answer there. And I really like the point that you brought in. When people are looking for solutions, they are Googling stuff. They are not logging
Yeah,
into Instagram or searching for it on Twitter. That's excellent. And yeah, blogs are what you get when you Google. Writing content is what you get. Written content is what you
yeah,
get when you Google, right?
yeah,
Excellent. Now, going back to the original topic that we had today, Komal recently shared a fantastic post detailing 5 tips to write a good blog, which is
yeah.
what we will cover in detail here. So, over to you, Komal. Please share the tips that we should keep in mind, and imagine that I am someone who's going to start writing a blog. What are the tips that I should be keeping in mind?
Right. So talking about that particular post that I wrote, that was out of sheer, like, I've been observing so many blogs. I've been writing so many of them. In the past 1.5 years, I must have written over, I don't know, probably 60 to 70 blog articles, probably. I've
Wow.
never done an audit, but
Mhm.
close to that number, because I am so passionate about it. I'm probably writing 20 blogs every month, or probably
Wow.
15 blogs now. Right now, it's like, of course, it's less because I'm working with less number of clients, like focusing on quality more. But earlier I used to like be writing blogs all day, every day, like 5,000 word blogs and all of these things. So that post particularly came out of observation, writing, and all of these things. And just I tried to compress it into 5 tips which I majorly feel you really need to work on when you're writing a blog, be it
Mhm.
as a brand, as a marketer, as a writer. So just touching base on them, I think the number one thing is research. That's the most essential part of writing a blog today. Now the problem with the blogs online is that when you, let's say, you search about how to start a blog on Instagram, or how to start how to build your community on Twitter, anything at all, you'll come across a bunch of blogs. But after the second or third blog, the information will start getting repetitive. You will
Yeah.
start seeing the same points, you will start seeing the same images and all of these things. So at this point in 2021, where there's an information overload, everyone is glued to their screens.
Mhm.
You really need to create unique, original content, which is slightly different from what already exists online. for which you need to dig deep while researching. Now, this does not mean going like looking at only the first 10 search engine results. What you need to do is go beyond that. Probably watch YouTube videos about this. Probably listen to a bunch of podcast episode about it, make notes and include it in your article. Watch a bunch of read a bunch of Instagram posts about it. Research hashtags on Twitter and Instagram. Talk to people. Post a question on Quora, on a Reddit community, maybe a WhatsApp or a Slack community where there is a target audience of people you're writing this article for, and get original opinions and include them in your article. So the need today is to dig deep while researching, and don't just swim on the surface, but dive deeper and find exactly that point which can end your user's search journey. So if I'm a user, I particularly, if I'm searching for something, I don't want okay, I need to read 20 articles to actually find a solution to my problem. I want that I read one article, I get my solution. And to actually write an article which puts an end to your user's search journey, you need to dig deep. So that's definitely the number one point.
I
Number two,
really
yeah,
just to interrupt a between. I
yeah, yeah,
really love that analogy that you made there. Don't swim on the surface, but you need to dig
yeah.
deep. So yeah, I mean, just to sum it all up, I guess it's very important to consume a lot of relevant content first before you can, arrange your thoughts and write something.
Definitely. I mean, definitely.
Great.
That's so important today.
Mhm.
So
Let's move on.
yeah, apart from that, I think the second one would be, including a lot of rich media. Now,
Mhm.
focusing and, putting a lot of focus on rich, because right now, a lot of people still believe in, including stock images, royalty free images, and all of these things. What's needed today is, like you said, everything is becoming visual. So you need to give visual breaks in your blog. And that is something which is still missing in the blogs that are written right now, even for articles that rank well. So I think that there's a definite need to include original images, screenshots, producing original images on Canva. I've worked with a lot of companies who do not even allow me to include like sourced images. They want me to tell them what to create. They will get the design team to create it, and they want to create original, graphics, which is really nice. Even for screenshots, I've had like guidelines. Okay, on what color should I use? How should I use the pointed arrow mark? How should I highlight what I want to show? So a lot like brands are getting more and more specific about the way they're putting out visuals, because even that is a representation of their brand, and it needs to be top notch, it needs to be on brand. So I feel that there's a definite need to include rich media. So that is why screenshots, original images, source images, even that's fine. Infographics, all of these things need to be included in blogs, which is something not people don't focus on it a lot, even writers. So I definitely think that's needed.
Okay,
Um,
so
yeah,
rich media, and that should also follow uh, the branding around it, the brand colors
yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that, which you
All
mentioned.
of these
Okay, great,
things,
excellent.
definitely. A
Mhm.
lot of brands even add, their what is it called? They add their logo in
Mhm.
the bottom just to
Yeah,
um
claim
make
that
it
it is their
legend. So yeah,
original.
claim that it's yeah, because people do, when you add image tags to it, it'll show up on Google Images, and then if someone source, use it that use that source image, you can actually get credits to it, backlinks, and all of these things. So a lot of thought goes into media, which is again not something that a lot of people think about. So something
Wow.
to probably stress upon.
Mhm.
Another thing there, the third thing that I recently started doing, which I also talked about in my post, was including original quotes in your blog articles. Now, this was something which, got a lot of people talking. Many people message me that, Komal, I particularly like this point. Why? Because people definitely do believe in adding quotes to their blogs, but this will be to people who are extremely famous. For example, if you're writing a motivational blog, then Will Smith or Jay Shetty are the first people that come to your mind. But adding quotes to them is very common. Like, I mean, those are like the gurus of that particular industry, and they're talking about day in and day out. What you need to do is, probably when you're writing about, let's say, marketing, you're writing about productivity, you're writing about HR, you're writing about, let's say, food or whatever you're writing about, um, adding quotes by taking them from experts, probably messaging them on LinkedIn or Twitter, or reaching them via email. taking quotes from them on a particular topic or on a particular angle in your article and including it is a
Mhm.
good way to add credibility to your article. So if I'm writing an article on, let's say, why, let's say why SaaS tools are important for remote teams, right? Productivity tools are important for remote teams. If I'm just adding information, why would someone believe me? If I'm adding a quote from a credible person in the industry, they will think that, okay, this information is now validated, it is legit. So,
Mhm.
particularly, these quotes add more credibility and authority to your article, which is really important because today people need a lot of evidence before they actually start trusting you. So this just adds that trust factor and makes your article more original. And of course, it also helps in distribution because you're going to link to them, you're going to share the article with them, and if they share it, your article gets more reach. So that's a lot of benefits attached to it. So this is again something I've been experimenting for a bit, and I've also been suggesting it to other writers. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty. I think this is pretty good.
Is it
um
easy or is it difficult to get
it's easy, it's not that difficult, honestly. It's difficult finding the one, but
uh,
like for example, what I started doing is I've starting whenever I want quotes for an article, I just put out a tweet. A lot of people retweet it, a lot of people refer someone in the comments, a lot of people directly DM me. I get a bunch of quotes, and from them I just cherry pick the ones that I want to pick for my article and which actually complement what I'm trying to say there. So it's
mhm.
not that difficult. It's particularly about reaching out to people you actually want to get a quote from. So communities on LinkedIn, Slack, WhatsApp, Twitter is the best place to get quotes because you can practically reach out to anyone you want. So
Yeah.
I was recently writing an article for a client on Email Octopus. It's an email marketing software. I was publishing a blog there on how to grow your email list from nothing. And I
Mhm.
wanted a quote from someone who had actually built an email list from nothing. So I just put out a tweet. There's this email marketer called Chase Demond. He's like
Okay.
the ultimate, the guru of email marketing, and he's been um, working around email marketing for a long period of time. So he
Mhm.
actually, I reached out to him on message. He responded, and he just told me how he built an email list for his client from scratch to 200K subscribers in I think 20 months.
Wow.
And that was like super for me because I was looking for such an example. I could include the example, I could include the quote also, and I just linked back to him. So it just
Mhm.
adds more credibility, and I feel this is something that people are still not doing and can be leveraged. So this is something that journalists generally do.
Yeah.
So they include it in journalistic type articles, but even in how-to articles, I think quotes can definitely work well. So that was the third point. Talking and moving on to the fourth point, I think it's having a very conversational tone in your blogs is important.
Mhm.
Today we're not like, even if like I'm a writer in the B2B niche, so people often have that mean that, okay, if you're writing for businesses, you must have like a professional, a formal tone where you're talking in professional language and heavy vocabulary and all of these things. But that is changing right now. You're still talking to a human is reading your articles. So a conversational tone with a pinch of humor, with a pinch of wit, is really important. I think basis on the brand guidelines, how your brand is formulated, making your blog post conversational, writing it like you actually talk. Like I'm talking to you right now, I can just write like this, write content like this in my blog, and it will perform well. It will read well, and of course, it will make the article much more engaging. Um,
Is it okay to say if you don't say some words in your daily usage, don't write them?
don't write them. Definitely, don't write them. So, um, as a thumb rule, if you're including a word which let's say any person in the 10th standard or 9th standard in school would have to Google, don't include that word. So make it as dumb as you can. Honestly, that's the way I will put it. Make it as dumb as you can, because for any person, and that brings me to my fifth point as well. Don't use technical jargon. So a lot of, like, since I write for SaaS businesses, I write about topics related to marketing, sales, automation, social media, all of these things. Sometimes when I'm writing, or sometimes even when I'm editing articles by other writers, since I manage a team of writers for one of my clients, they sometimes include words which I, as a writer, would know, a marketer would know, but a normal person who wants to know more about marketing would not know about.
Yeah.
So if you're including something which someone needs to probably bounce off the website and Google, is not required. So avoid using technical jargon. Even if you are, then probably explain it. For example, it's natural for me to say that if you want to build your if you want to grow your business, build a sales funnel. But if I just write it, then a normal person would not understand. Like my sister would not understand that what is a sales funnel. She's an architect. She doesn't know about marketing, right? So for me, it will be that okay, to grow your business, you need to build your sales funnel, which essentially means that XYZ, right? So it's really important to, if you're including jargon, if you're including technical words, explain them. Else, just don't include them. Make the content conversation. And yeah, that's more or less about the tips that I covered. But yeah, that's what I've been focusing on. I think the best usage of these tips, and the best examples of how a blog post should be written is, I follow two websites very religiously. One is Copy Hackers and one is Smart Bloggers. These two websites, the way they structure their articles, like those are written by internal teams and also guest posts by other writers. They are written beautifully, structured beautifully with such in-depth information that it's almost crazy that someone would actually, like, I would personally think that someone spent like 15 days writing that blog, when in fact they've taken like 3-4 days to write it, one day to edit it, and another day to get published. But that's the difference. The quality of content is increasing day by day. People are demanding more in-depth content, because of which today creating blog content just for the sake of it is not fair.
Yeah.
If you're creating content, if you're investing in a strategy, if you're investing in a writer or a content team, invest proper time, research, and all of these things along these lines. But yeah, that's essentially what I feel about writing a blog. It's getting difficult day by day. So many elements to it. But yeah, you got to begin from somewhere.
Excellent, excellent. Absolutely fantastic tips there. And I guess it's only natural for you to share uh, those two websites as well, because you keep bringing in so much value to the table. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And before we close, it would be great if you could share, what kind of brands or clients do you collaborate with? Are they from any specific industry? I think you touched upon it, how they are.
Yeah.
Some of them are specifically from SaaS. And
Yeah.
how can someone reach out to you?
Right. So earlier I used to cover everything, right from website copywriting to email copywriting, ad copywriting, and all of these things. But slowly I actually realized that my specialization lies in long form blogs on the company's website, guest posts for companies and individuals on reputable websites, which help them get backlinks and also build authority in the industry. And the third thing is sales landing pages, which essentially is copy, which helps you convert visitors into customers. So yeah, that's what I'm helping brands with. And most of my clients are, yes, in the SaaS industry. A lot of them I'm creating content for their website directly. A lot of them I'm creating content for different websites where they want to get their articles published. So a lot of things here and there. But yeah, that's mostly what I specialize in: long form company blogs, guest blogs, ebooks, and sales landing pages. So definitely, if you want to reach out to me, I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse, Twitter, anywhere you want to find me. But yeah, that's more or less about what I do. And yeah,
Excellent, excellent. I'll share some of the links to Komal's profile
absolutely.
directly in the description below. And thanks once again for taking the time out, Komal. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks so much for having me here.